What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Credit Plug channel where we talk about how to build credit, how to establish relationships with banks and financial institutions, and most importantly, how to get you access to high limit credit funding. If that's something you like to listen to, we welcome you to subscribe. Otherwise, you can support our channel if you just like, share, or comment right down below. It helps our content get out to a wider audience, and we greatly appreciate the support. As a reminder, we have launched a Credit Plug page on the Patreon platform. That's just another platform that we're going to be dropping exclusive content. So for anyone interested, you could also go and follow us over there. So for today's video, I just wanted to give some updates on a video that was done several months ago. I know there's a lot of new subscribers, so some of you probably haven't seen it, but this was the United Nations Federal Credit Union. So for those who aren't familiar with the United Nations Federal Credit Union, it's actually the 32nd largest credit union in the United States, with about 6 billion in assets under management and roughly around 150,000 members. So it's not a small credit union, it's not a huge credit union. I would say it's probably somewhere in the middle. However, when you look at the membership compared to the assets, that ratio is actually pretty high, because when you look at a comparable credit union, like let's say a Redstone Federal Credit Union that has a little shy of 6 billion, but they have 450,000 members. So when I see things like that, it makes me think that perhaps these types of institutions where they have a higher ratio of assets to members, that there's just a little bit more to go around, if that makes any sense. But anyways, the United Nations Federal Credit Union is designed, or originally designed, for members of the UN, employees of the UN. So the United Nations is, I guess it's not a government agency, but it's actually an international group of different countries that work together to try to solve social and economic issues and things like that. So and also too, if you're employed with like the IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund, as well as the World Bank. So those three institutions, UN, IMF, World Bank, all work together, to help solve world issues and things like that. So that's who it was originally designed for. However, membership to the United Nations Federal Credit Union is open. So if you don't have any work affiliation or family affiliation, you can join the United Nations Association of the United States of America. So that's UNAUSA. I know that's a bit of a tongue twister, but basically, you could do all of that through the application. So you could join if you don't have any affiliation. You could join when you sign up for membership to United Nations Federal Credit Union. So the requirements, you have to have an affiliation, and then you also have to open up a $50 savings account. And that savings account will basically just be held as reserve for your membership, as well as your stake in the ownership of the credit union. So that's another way to look at it. Besides that, you're going to need a government issued identification card, either a driver's license, passport, or just a regular ID, as well as proof of address of wherever your residence is, and then your social security number. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Again, it's not geographically restricted, so it doesn't matter where in the country you actually live. You could definitely take advantage of United Nations Federal Credit Union. So the last time around, I did go over two of their, well, actually, there are only two credit cards, which is the Elite Visa as well as the Azure Visa. So the Elite Visa goes up to $100,000 limit. It has a 0% offer for 6 months. It does come with a $50 annual fee, but in addition, it has things like accidental travel insurance, lost luggage insurance, um, extended warranties. It also has damage waiver, collision insurance as well. So if you rent vehicles, so it has a ton of benefits. I've gone over that in the previous video. And then you have the Azure Visa, which has no introductory offers. It has a slightly lower interest rate, and it has no annual fee, but the Azure Visa caps at 50,000. So those are basically their two credit cards. But what I really wanted to get in, and these are some things that I've noticed since last checking out UNFCU. They do have some good mortgage products that I wanted to get into. So one of them is the Fannie Mae Home Path program, which is essentially designed for people with good credit but maybe lower incomes. So part of that program, they're going to have reduced closing costs and other closing cost assistance, low 3% as low as 3% down payment, and the home path loans could be used to buy a single family or a condo. And from my understanding, the home path program usually are going to be like older homes that need a little bit of renovation, at least from my understanding. So that's just one thing to consider. But again, it's really designed for, like, let's say if your income isn't um, where it needs to be to qualify for like a conventional loan, then the Home Path program is definitely something that you could take advantage of. They also have a first time home buyer program as well. The one caveat to that is, well, actually, it's interesting because the way they defined first time home buyer is someone who has not had a mortgage within the past 3 years. So that's basically how you qualify for that. But you could use that first time home buyer program to purchase, if you want to, a up to a 4 unit multifamily, which you'd obviously have to occupy at least one of those units. So that's a good program to consider. Then they also have the FHA, and that's for U.S. citizens as well as green card holders. So that's just something else to consider. And then, in order to be eligible, at a minimum, you can't have any bankruptcies within the past 2 years, and no foreclosures within the past 3 years. And one of the good benefits of the FHA, or this particular FHA, is that when you refinance, you're not going to have to undergo an appraisal or income verification or documentation when you do refinance, which is a pretty good benefit. And then they also have VA loans, and those offer 100% financing, no down payment, no PMI. Of course, it has to be owner occupied. And then in terms of the home equity, they have a home equity loan that goes up as high as $500,000. And then they also have a home equity line of credit that's as high as $500,000, 500,000, and that has a drawdown period of 10 years, which is pretty good. And then for home equity loans or lines of credit that are less than 50,000, there's no application fee, there's no appraisal fee, there's no closing, and there's no points. So that's another good thing to consider. And then they also have home renovation loans that go up to $150,000 with no collateral. So you could use that to upgrade your kitchen, bathroom, add a room, whatever types of home improvement that you might need. So they have a host of different mortgage and home related loan products. So you guys should definitely check those out. But what I really wanted to get into, which was interesting, is they also offer shared secured loans. Now, as a lot of you know, I'm a huge fan of shared secured loans. So the interesting thing about the shared secure loans that United Nations Federal Credit Union offers, that they allow you to borrow up to 150% of your savings, shared certificate, or checking account. So whatever your total liquid assets are with United Nations Federal Credit Union, you can borrow up to 150%, which is unheard of. I'm not aware of anywhere else where you can borrow 150% of whatever your savings or checking account is. So that's a really, really interesting feature. And they even sweeten it a little bit more for actual UN employees. So UN employees can actually borrow up to 200% of their savings, and then they can also get an unsecured loan up to $75,000, or 100% of their gross annual income, whichever one is lower. So basically, up to $75,000 unsecured, which is amazing. So, they have a bunch of great products. But one thing I also wanted to cover in terms of their shared secured loans. Now, I did speak with a representative and was able to provide some information. And essentially, the shared secured loan, there's no credit check for that, right? You could also add a joint account holder without a credit check. They just have to be a member of the credit union, and then they will report that account to the credit reporting agency. So that has a lot of benefits, especially when it comes to I like to coin it manufacturing data, right? You could essentially create a trade line. I'm not telling you guys to do so, but you can open up a shared secured loan, add a joint account holder, which that account would show as a primary account, and then basically recycle the money. That account will report, and then over a course of time be paid off. So I think that's excellent because you're not undergoing a hard inquiry to necessarily add a positive account. So that's just one little gem for you guys to absorb right there. But overall, yeah, I just wanted to highlight some of these other products and programs. Oh yeah, by the way, they also do have a 25 up to a $25,000 line of credit, personal line of credit. So it works as a personal line of credit or an overdraft line of credit. And I touched on this a little bit in another video, how some institutions kind of bundle those together. So it will be tied to your checking account, but then you could also pull the money off if you needed to use it, as you would with a traditional line of credit. So again, this is just an update of United Nations Federal Credit Union. Definitely check it out. Do your own due diligence in addition. And if there's any individuals who actually have become members since the last video we put out, definitely let us know your experience. From what I've been told with one of the representatives, it can take anywhere between 5 to 7 business days for your membership to be processed. And that's kind of in line with what I actually experienced. I know some people mentioned it took a little bit longer, but yeah, definitely check it out. If that's something you're interested in, and if there's anyone who has any other data points on United Nations Federal Credit Union, we would definitely appreciate that. So you could just let us know your comments and feedback in the comment section right down below. Until next time, y'all take it easy, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.